welcome to the postseason, where I don't know. I was gonna go for something like because I know LSU. I think it was death. They're saying is like Death Valley, where dreams come to die. But this is a fun show. This isn't a whatever. This is fun. Um, welcome to the NFL playoffs, my friend. Extra Point Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We have a ton to talk about. Okay, we're gonna talk about the playoffs. There were a lot of interesting things that happened in week 18 that we'll talk about. And then there was some coaching, dismissals. We'll delve into
Firings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the end of the show. No. So we'll start. Let's go into. We won't go through all the games because some of them are pretty meaningless. But a lot of them were pretty good too. This one is kind of in between. This happened Saturday night. Kansas City, Denver. This was a game where, like, okay, Kansas City, they needed to win to have a shot at the 1 seed. If it was kind of like Cowboys Packers situation in the NFC a little bit a couple weeks ago. But the Chiefs win 28-24. Tyreek Hill nicks up, I believe, his foot or his heel or his ankle, something lower body.
Something lower half, yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty good game. Had Denver again. This has kind of been Denver the last few years. They've been really inconsistent, and they were up by 4 or they're 3, 4, whatever. They were up. They had the ball, and it was 3rd and short or something. Melvin Ingram, the acquisition from the Pittsburgh Steelers, comes in with a great play on Melvin Gordon. Strips him, and Nick Bolton, their rookie linebacker from Missouri, takes it back to the house, and they come out. Like, we don't have to spend too much time on this one, but like, are you worried about Kansas City's offense or no?
I'm not too worried about them, but at the same time, like, I don't think they are the Chiefs of the last couple of years. I mean, just look at throughout the entire regular season. I mean, they've had spurts where it's like, holy cow, all right, the Chiefs are back, and then there's spurts where it's like, holy cow, the Chiefs are dead. Like, I don't know what to fully think of it. I mean, it's playoff time now. I mean, essentially, we're gonna see the best of the best go against each other at this point in time. And I mean, the Chiefs, they're gonna have a tough task right away. I mean, essentially, they're playing a Steelers team that they beat pretty handily earlier in the regular season. But at the same time, like, the Steelers, they're playing for Big Ben's last ride right now.
You already said what Big Ben said about the game. He said, like, I'm sure a lot of people are, we're the worst team of the 14 teams left. We shouldn't be here. And so we're just going to go out and have fun with it, let it ride or whatever. And I just thought I do think the way the media does pull quotes from players, like, they want to shape it in some kind of way that makes it look like he doesn't care. No, they're going to go they're going to play hard. They're going to go all out, and they might get blown out, but it's not like they're going to walk in there, whatever. I mean, they're going to try and give it their all. I think it'll be different, and not the result. Maybe I think the score will be different. I think Kyle Brandt had a great analogy on Good Morning Football yesterday. He said Allen Iverson were like the 2001 76ers were not the best team in the East, and they shouldn't have gone to the finals against the Lakers, but they had Allen Iverson. That's why they were there. TJ Watt is the Steelers' Allen Iverson. TJ Watt is unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know what the ruling is. Did you hear they were going to the Steelers asked the NFL to review? There was a sack, or there was a bad snap that Huntley picked up, tried to run with it, and Watt tackled him behind the line of scrimmage. It wasn't ruled a sack. I don't know what the ruling is, but if they give it a sack, TJ Watt would have the record for sacks in the season, passing Strahan. So that's pretty cool. But he's an absolute beast. He's an absolute freak. And Tom will have him like, I have no logical explanation. Like, I have no logical reasoning to pick the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. They might do it though. That's just how sports works sometimes. I don't know how or why.
Especially with this NFL season. I mean, it's just upset city. a lot of people have not like been able to figure out.
Well,
AKA the Colts losing to the Jags.
yeah, let's move there. Look, I picked the Jaguars last week because I was losing by a ton in the standings, the pick standings, and I thought, what the hell? This would be a crazy story. They beat the Bills earlier. The Jaguars did beat the Bills earlier in the year. And a bunch of the fans showed up in clown masks to show disapproval for or disapproval, whatever the screw it. Like of Shad Khan, the owner, and Trent Baalke, the GM, that they're not running the franchise properly. And the Jaguars win. Jaguars win. I didn't catch. I was watching, my Packers play the Lions, but that was one of the craziest results. I wasn't surprised by it because everyone all week is like, oh, all the Colts have to do is win. That's all they have to do. Like, what could happen? What could go wrong? And then everyone's going to think, okay, well, Jacksonville could pull the upset here, and they did. And are the Colts the biggest disappointment?
To knock it in?
Yeah.
Not of all time. I would definitely not say of all time.
Yeah.
Was it a huge disappointment? Yes. I mean, with what they've dealt with throughout this entire season of just the ups and downs, like being 1-5 to start, and then they rally back. I mean, Christmas Day they missed everybody, and they beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And then they lose the last 2 weekends against the Raiders, who barely snuck in.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And then now you're losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But at the same time, the Colts have not beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014.
It's such a crazy stat. I don't look, it's like a game 7 kind of, except the Jaguars have really nothing to play for here. But like it's like a game 7 in the like anything can happen. You never know. And that's what was worried. Like for any team, that worries me. Like, okay, all you have to do is win, but Jacksonville, like anything can happen in one game. Say you're down maybe 3-0. Okay, well, now you think, okay, well, we're losing, so now we got to go score, and you force something, maybe you throw a pick, or you just, you have to punt. Okay, you're down 10-0. And then you start to get more nervous, more worried, and then like life comes at you fast in a one game scenario. It happened for the Colts, and I like Frank Reich, I really do. I think Jonathan Taylor's a stud. Darius, like the Colts have their roster is, you have some studs. Their O-line is very great. Again, Jonathan Taylor's great. Darius Leonard's great. But they don't have, outside of that, they don't really have, like their receiving core. Michael Pittman is good. He has a lot of talent. T.Y. Hilton is older. I'm probably forgetting some guys at the moment. But they could have very well made the playoffs. They could have, but their team just, the way I see it, I don't know if they would have gotten that. I mean, whoever they were the first
round, it would have all hindered on Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I mean, what was his pass?
4.
I mean,
his quarterback rating was
passer
4.
rating.
Yeah, or something.
That is terrible. I mean, just trying to rely on that, and they barely handed the ball off to Jonathan Taylor throughout the game, who is an MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, they hand the ball off every once in a while, and Jonathan Taylor would get stuffed. But the fact of it is you're having your offensive line beat up on their defensive line, and the way that the Tennessee Titans have been just dominating people late in games is they just kept running the ball with Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be a similar situation that the Colts could have with Jonathan Taylor. But, yeah, they want to try and outsmart their opponent by doing, like, play-action passes and stuff like that. But Carson Wentz is not going to be the answer to get you to the promised land by doing all that.
I don't know what happened to the Carson Wentz. So when I remember his first year in Philly, they went like the Eagles went 6-10. It was a rough year, but like it's like that for Josh Allen, Buffalo. Like it's like that for a lot of almost all young quarterbacks their first year. It's rough. Happened with Aaron Rodgers. I think the Packers went 6-10 his first year starting, or 8-8 or something. Second year though, he really took off. I thought he was going to be a stud, and the Super Bowl year they had before he blew out he was the MVP. I thought he was the MVP. I thought he played very well. And then it all just kind of went to shit. I mean, excuse my language, but that's what it was. I mean, everyone, all the sports shows, all this morning sports shows, everyone's talking about Philadelphia. What's wrong with Philadelphia? All that stuff. Doug Peterson couldn't control it. The O-line, a lot of injuries, a lot of inconsistent play on the defensive side of the ball. They had like receivers, Alshon Jeffrey got hurt, who they, after they won, he was kind of their big play guy, during their Super Bowl run they got from the Bears. He gets hurt. Deshaun Jackson comes back, was that last year? I can't remember. He was there for a brief time. But they have guys like, they draft Jalen Reagor last year. Greg Ward, who was a quarterback in Houston, they change him to a receiver. They bring him over. Lot of change, a lot of turnover happening, and they couldn't solve the issues. He comes to Indy, and it wasn't as bad this year. Carson Wentz, I think, had a productive year than a more productive year than he did last year. But at the end of it all, they had one game, and they weren't good enough to win that one game, and that's why they're on the outside looking in, and that's why one of the few reasons why the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the playoffs. The second reason would happen to be that game on Sunday night. I walked away, and then I ended up deleting the tweet, but I tweeted that was the greatest game I've ever seen. Now, you know me, I'm very I get stuck in the moment a lot, but that game, I love watching games that make me remember why I love football. The Green Bay Packers were not playing in that game, but the way the Chargers, it was a good game early on. The Chargers, I think, kind of withstood that early surge, right? Who? I think it was the Raiders that got out. Yeah, Raiders got out to a 10-0 start. The Chargers withstood the surge, and then they get 14 in the second quarter. But then, the Raiders are up 29-14 in the fourth quarter. I don't know how many fourth downs they converted on all those drives, but there are third downs even. Unbelievable job by Justin Herbert. It's a crime that he's not in the playoffs, and Big Ben is, just with quarterback play. Justin Herbert is my second favorite behind Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert is my second favorite quarterback. He is unbelievable. Guys, Collinsworth said on the broadcast, guys were absolutely gassed coming back to the huddle on those plays, but they just kept finding ways to get back in the game. And I know all the fans in Pittsburgh were like, oh my gosh, let's put this game to bed here. Come on, why are we moving towards a tie? And I was questioning Brandon Staley's decision to go for two the first time. So it was 29-20. I'm like, no, because there were 4 minutes left. And I was like, okay, let's kick the field goal, because if you miss it, I don't know if you have enough time down 2 possessions to get the ball back, multiple times, lose all your timeout. So I thought, let's just kick the field goal, get it to 1 possession. Sure enough, what do I know? They get the 2 to Austin Eckler, down 7. They get a stop from the Raiders, I believe. And then they convert. I think the drive had close to 20 plays, all the penalties, whatever, all the conversions. They score on, what is it? I think 4th and goal from maybe the 16 or something, some unbelievable play. Herbert finds, is it Josh Palmer? Or maybe it's Mike Williams. I don't know. No. The first touchdown to get to 20, he found Josh Palmer in the end zone on a 4th and 16 or a 4th and something ridiculous. And the Raiders kind of left. It wasn't wide open, but he was open, and it was surprising how open he was. And they find Mike Williams. He hits him with the seed to get it to 28-29. They kick the field goal. They go to overtime. I want to ask you, though, sorry, I've rambled down here with this. Do you have an issue with the timeout call? Simply, that's the question. Do you have an issue with Brandon Staley calling the timeout?
Yes, I do, because, hindsight, hindsight, I guess I would say make them kick the 57-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Brandon Staley said that they had the wrong play called in case the Raiders went for it right away.
Yeah.
But then they go out and they give Josh Jacobs a 10-yard run
Yeah.
and essentially set up a 47-yarder instead of a
Yeah.
57-yarder.
Yeah. It
And
was so much
so
easier.
I mean that's a lot for most kickers. They can definitely hit the 57-yarder. And Daniel Carlson is just a beast inside
Yeah.
of
He's been automatic.
in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I would say that I would try and force him to kick the 57-yarder instead of the 47-yarder. But at the same time, if they had the wrong defense called, and the Raiders went for it, that could have also ended up, very easily just a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then that's still game over. And then you're
Yeah.
like, all right, well, that happened.
Yeah.
So it can go both ways. I feel like I don't know. It's just hindsight. You don't want him to,
Yeah.
but in the heat of the moment, I mean, it's the right call for him to make.
Were the Raiders just gonna let the clock go out?
See, that's what a lot of other people are saying. I don't think they would have. I truthfully do not think they would have, especially since Bisaccia is trying to hold on to a job.
Yeah.
Even though he's the interim head coach. I mean, he has a good shot of keeping the job.
I think so too. Yeah, I think if he wins this game, I think he should keep the job regardless. But I think if they beat Cincinnati, I think they should, without a doubt. I think they should keep him. I will say, I guess my last point on this thing. People talking before this game, it was like, oh, is a tie? Is that in the spirit of the game? Like taking all those knees. I get it. Okay, that's not football. But this is the postseason we're talking about. The LA Chargers have a lot of talent. They were in the playoffs in 2000. The last time they were there was 2018, so it was a couple of years ago, I believe. The LA Chargers, I think, are the kings of having talent and not. I think the Chargers and the Vikings are the two teams, both in a different conference, that have the talent and can never seem to do anything with it. And I don't care about I could care less about taking a knee or, tying the game. That's not in the spirit of it. Getting to the playoffs is a big deal. I could care like I remember the Packers Vikings a couple years ago when Aaron broke his collarbone because some Chicago Bears player sacked him. Whatever. Don't want to talk about it. Anyway, Matt Flynn came in. I think they were playing Minnesota. It was 2013, and they had a chance to win the game. They were at the 1 yard line in overtime. They couldn't score. It ended up being a tie, and actually that tie helped them get into the playoffs. So there's some seasons, some examples where ties don't work. A lot of times ties do help. Obviously, this is a done deal. If you tie, you get in the playoffs. Simple as that. But this is the playoffs we're talking about. I don't care if it's one game. Like I know you're big on this. Like Brandon Staley, I understand his mindset and what he thinks about this stuff. If this is a rivalry game, I get it. Just tie though. Like if and who knows if they were going to let the clock out, we don't know. But I think people are talking about, a tie, taking knees. That's not what the game of football is about. Well, you want to live to fight another day, then take the tie. That's what I have to say.
Yep.
But moving on to maybe, another great game, Niners-Rams. I remember you were driving, so I had to give you the play-by-play. I should get a job in broadcasting. I really should. My voice.
I got the play-by-play for the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yep. Yeah, my inspiration comes from Wayne Larrabee, the best broadcaster in all of sports. But anyway, 49ers-Rams. Rams get up. I believe the Rams were up. Were they up 17-0? Early.
Yes.
Yes.
Because then that's basically when I left, and then
Yeah.
I heard that
Yeah.
the 49ers came back, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, let me look at this because they ran in the second half. They ran the ball down the Rams' throat. I mean, I'm talking they ran the ball 7 to 8 plays straight at a time. Rushing. Sorry, let me look at the rushing stats. Hold up. Yeah, the okay. I guess it was more than I thought, or it was less than I thought. But 135 rushing yards. A lot of that came in the third quarter. They were mashing the Rams. The Rams could do nothing about it. It was just like simple flips to Elijah, like a toss back. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like a toss crack. You know those plays in Madden where it's like, it's not like they're going directly out to the left and you throw it. Like Garoppolo took the snap, immediately tossed it behind him, and then he ran, like he picked the hole and ran straight through. And you could hear it in Joe Buck and Troy Aikman's voice, like they were just going at the Rams. And Deebo Samuel is, I thought Tyreek Hill was. I think I might change my opinion. I think Deebo Samuel is the best all-purpose player in the game right now. I believe that. He's unbelievable. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, I know people were kind of calling for Brandon Ayuk to kind of be cut or whatever, I think early on, or saying he needed to do more. He led them in receiving, 6 catches, 107 yards. Garoppolo didn't have the best. He got sacked 3 times, threw a couple of picks. He didn't screw it up, though. Let's put it that way. He did not screw it up. Shanahan was very creative. This was a game they had to have. And I know the fans in New Orleans were watching closely. But this is a game, like this is just it's not the Super Bowl, but it might put you in position to go after the Super Bowl. And that's a game that just really fires you up if you're a Niners fan. I know they dealt with some, they've had some running back injuries. Obviously, I think they're still trying to adjust to life without Saleh as their defensive coordinator. I keep saying without Richard Sherman, he was, I think, their leader. I really think so. Or he was a big part of that on defense during their Super Bowl run. But, just a great effort by the Niners. They really buckled down the second half. And the LA Rams, man, I mean, Stafford throws 2 interceptions, gets sacked 5 times. I believe he has 16 picks on the season. That's a lot. And he has 40 touch.
A lot of picks.
He has 40. I guess the passing touchdowns balances it out, but that is a lot. And
you know who that kind of reminds me of at this point in time?
Jay
now
Cutler.
that I'm actually thinking about this.
Jay Cutler.
No.
That wasn't a joke. I actually was serious. Like Favre, who?
No, Jameis Winston, dude.
Yeah.
He had I mean, it's not exactly Jameis in the point of, all right, Jameis threw for the most yards, but also threw the most interceptions. I mean, Stafford was close, though. Brady just beat him out by a little bit for the entire season.
Yeah.
For passing yards. Interceptions wise, I don't know where he's at for interceptions wise, but
I think he's third
he's
most
up there as well.
Yeah. I think they're still trying to adjust to crazy. I think they should have this they should have this done already, but I think they're still adjusting to life without Robert Woods. Still trying to figure that out. And still the deep ball, unless it's Cooper Kupp, like the Odell Beckham deep ball connection is not great right now. Like I know Odell has had 5 or 6 reception touchdowns since he's gotten there. Like he's definitely turned it around, but they're still missing something on the deep ball, I've noticed. So that's a little weary. I'd be a little nervous about that if I'm an LA Rams fan. I don't know how many LA Rams fans are out there, but I would be, this is 6 or 7 straight times they've lost to the Niners in a row. And the Niners are a physical team. The LA Rams say they have to go to Green Bay. First say they make it past Arizona. We'll talk about this, but say they have to go to Green Bay. Is it going to happen again? I don't think the LA Rams can I think the LA Rams are more of a finesse team now. Kind of like the Packers the last few years before this year. The Packers are kind of a tougher team. I don't know. I'm talking about the Packers, but I'm just using them as an example. Like the Packers, the Bucks, hell, maybe even the Cowboys are tougher defensively, which is crazy. You have Ramsey and Donald. This shouldn't be a problem. But massive win for the Niners. It's more about them, I think. That was big time. Now they're in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
and they play the Dallas
Absolutely.
Cowboys. Do you want to move? Actually, do you just want to move to the talking about playoffs right now, or do you want to move to the head coaching carousel?
Let's talk about the playoffs, and then we could talk
Okay.
about the coaches.
All right. Yeah. By the way, other game. Well, no, we have to listen. Okay. Just I was going to talk about the Packers quickly, but that's okay. Just look at the graphic behind me, and you'll see what the real game is about. But moving on. So
That game was irrelevant, and Packers still lost
hey,
to the
okay,
Lions.
hey.
So
The focus was not about the
what you want
result.
to talk about for that game.
Okay, quickly. The focus was not about the result. It's a bummer they lost. I was actually cheering it. Like I was hoping Jordan Love would go off here. It came close. It was close in the end. But just wanted to see Aaron Rodgers play with David Bakhtiari and Josh Myers, two offensive linemen that are back. By the way, it's Darius Smith, all pro, back at practice. Jair Alexander back at practice. Randall Cobb is also practicing. They're going to be full strength, ready to go for the postseason. They have their bye this week. Woo! The juices are flowing. I'm hyped. I'm excited. Billy Turner, right tackle, was on the COVID list. Also had a knee injury, I think. Also coming back. So it's going to be full go, and I'm super excited. But they have the bye week. We won't talk about them now. The playoffs. So let's go to each of these matchups. We'll start in the AFC. Raiders, Bengals. Raiders, again, coming off the big win against the Chargers. Derek Carr is finally playing in his first postseason game, and I think if you don't love Derek Carr as a player, as a leader, as a person, then you have a serious problem. Derek Carr is unbelievable. Or he's not, not saying Hall of Fame unbelievable, but he's like, again, the way he's led this team this season through everything they've gone through. That's awesome. And they're in the postseason now. And they're playing Cincinnati, who Cincinnati is electric. Their offense is electric. They have a Pro Bowl pass rusher. Trey Hendrickson is a Pro Bowl pass rusher. I meant Pro Bowl running back, Joe Mixon, 2 1,000-yard receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, who's unbelievable. And, of course, I think, actually, MVP candidate quarterback Joe Burrow. He's not going to win it, but I think he's an MVP. He's done an unbelievable job transforming Cincinnati. You figured he was going to do that when he was drafted there. The offense is great. The defense, Trey Hendrickson is their Pro Bowl pass rusher. They have some other key pieces. It's an interesting game because the Raiders, I think, have been through so much, and Cincinnati is like trying to make the comeback in terms of like, okay, well, our organization is back to being better than it has been the last few years.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this? Who do you give the edge to?
I'm giving the edge to the Bengals. I think that, they got a week to rest up, right? That offense is just so dynamic.
It is.
But this type of game, like with the Raiders the last few years, it's the type of situation where it's like, all right, the Raiders, they're the team that, all right, we're going to count on them to have this little upset.
Yeah.
Brew. And the Bengals are just so young, but it's also the Raiders' first time being in as well. It's one of those situations where it's just like, oh, I wish I knew, but we just don't.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think the Bengals have a little bit more of a diverse selection for who they can go to.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give them the edge that they're gonna win this football game.
I agree. I think both teams are inexperienced playoff wise. Like this is Derek Carr's first playoff game starting. A lot of these guys, this is their first playoff game. Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson. Actually, they have a couple guys. Trey Hendrickson, Von Bell are 2 New Orleans guys, so they were in the playoffs a couple times. They have a new attitude though, and I think that's what's important. I would pick Cincinnati as well. I think they're just they could be the new. I'm not saying they're the caliber of the Kansas City Chiefs, but you saw them when Kansas City came into play. They outdueled them. I think the Raiders are an awesome story, and I will probably be rooting for them because I just think they've overcome so much and they've been there. This is their first year again,
It's hard not to root for the Raiders
Yeah.
at this point in time.
yeah, this
know?
isn't like the old like like this isn't like the Raiders of like the 70s and 80s that we all kind of like outside of John Madden. Like I think a lot of people hated them just maybe because of their fans or like their attitude or whatever. This is a different team. They've been through a lot off the field. And I think it'll be a good game. I do think it'll be competitive. I really do. I think Basaccia should keep his job regardless of what happens. If they win though, definitely, but without a doubt, 100%, 1000%, keep his job. And again, we've been saying this about the Raiders for the last few years. They've been in these positions 5-3, 6-4. I've said this almost every episode, really. But they finally clawed their way through, and they made it to the postseason. I think that's big, and I think that could bode well for them for the future too. I mean, they might not win the Super Bowl, but I think they're certainly kind of going to get back to prominence here for sure. We're both in the Bengals. It's going to be exciting. Next up, Patriots Bills. This is the third time these rivals are facing each other this year. Patriots win that freezing, windy game in Buffalo earlier in the year. Then just a couple weeks ago, the Bills going to New England and beat the Patriots. Now this is round 3 in Buffalo. I mean, when was the last time Bill and the Patriots had to come to Buffalo for the postseason? I mean, I don't know if it's ever happened. No, I don't
know.
If it had,
for Bills' reign, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, if it had happened, it had to have been when I was still in my crib, because I don't remember that. So this is I think the Patriots have gone from like, oh, people are saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl because they're back, to a team that might be a little overhyped. And I like Bill Belichick a lot. I do. I think he's the greatest coach, and I think their defense is very stout. I mean, consistently they've been top 10 for years. They're going to be that again, or I mean, they're going to play like that in this game, I think. But I think Buffalo, again, you never know which Buffalo you're going to get. The Jacksonville Jaguars, that Buffalo team, or the team that goes into New England and kind of flips the script and beats them kind of handily. I like Buffalo. I'm going to pick Buffalo. Again, I think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, I think they're going to be lethal. I know that's easy to say because they're the two best players on offense, but I think they're really going to show up. And I think the crowd is going to be big. Again, Mac Jones didn't have to throw the football when they played in Buffalo last time. This time, I think he's going to. And we'll see how he does. But I like Buffalo. I just think Buffalo is the better team. Usually that's what everyone says, like when you're picking teams or picking games. I think Buffalo, though, pulls it out.
Yeah, I like Buffalo in this matchup. I think they found the recipe for success the last time that they played them. I think the first game was kind of an anomaly since, the conditions were so harsh.
Yeah.
But also, I just don't have too much faith in that New England team as a whole, where it's just like, because the run that they went on, it was a bunch of teams that like they were either missing guys or they were just playing flat out bad teams. I mean, it comes down to that essentially for me. And they haven't really had that proven game where they're like, all right, you know what, the Patriots, they're what they were in the past with Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
The Bills have kind of proven themselves, so I'm gonna ride with the Bills on this one.
Yeah.
Going against Belichick, that is a tough task.
At
the same time, it's like, well, the Bills, I mean, they have Josh Allen. Their defense, I mean, it's a top 5 defense. A lot of people forget about that. The Bills have a top 5 defense.
I think they're number 1 in scoring defense, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I that does sound correct. And that, I mean,
it's going to be close.
I'm going to stick with the Bills. I'm going to stick with the Bills, and I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah. I think regardless of what happens for New England, I think it's a very productive year. Again, you have a rookie quarterback coming in after he had, I know there was something not right with Cam's maybe throwing shoulder or whatever the problem was, why he wasn't successful. I mean, he's old or whatever the issue was. Certainly after last year, certainly a great turnaround for them. I think Bill's done a heck of a job regardless of what happens. So it's a productive year for New England, I think, regardless. All right, both on Buffalo. We'll stay with the last AFC game. This is on Sunday night at 7:15 on NBC. Steelers and Chiefs. I'm sure everyone in America is going to pick Kansas City. They think Kansas City's going to roll by 50, whatever they're going to pick, whatever. The way the story goes sometimes, I've seen that. We saw it with Jacksonville. I don't know why or how. Like, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win. It would not surprise me if the Pittsburgh Steelers won. I don't know how or why. That wouldn't surprise me because we all, that's how we all think. We all think KC could roll them, and they probably will. But Big Ben, who knows if Big Ben has a rebirth? Who knows if Deontay Johnson, who maybe should have been a Pro Bowler, 1,100-yard season goes nuts. Claypool's made some circus catches this year. I know he hasn't had the best statistical year, but he's made some plays. Najee Harris is hard to get to the ground. TJ Watt is the best player, maybe in the NFL. Maybe. And I know he's not like a quarterback or anything, but defensively, he's the best defensive player regardless. Kansas City should win by 50, whatever. I'm going to pick Kansas City, but it would not surprise me if Pittsburgh won, just because I know Mike Tomlin and the way they do things. It's just whatever.
I'm with you on that statement 100% of the way.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's going to be like, oh, Kansas City, we expected this, we expected that, they should go in and pummel them like they did in the regular season.
Yeah.
At the same time, I mean, this Steelers team, I feel like they're going to shock some people with how much that they can stay in this game. And it would not be surprising if they actually ended up pulling it out. It's kind of like a Raiders situation where it's just like, all right, well, we're not fully expecting you to win this game, but guess what? You can definitely go out and win this game.
Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. It makes no logical sense at all why we're even considering this. It's probably going to happen, though, because that's the way the NFL works. It's just the way sports goes. Sometimes it's the way the story goes. Look at Hollywood. Sometimes movies are like that. I don't know how or why. Pittsburgh. Moving to the NFC, though. Moving to the NFC side. Philly and Tampa. Dude, there are so many games, so many great games. Like, I'm so fired up. Like, there's so many great games. I mean, every game has something. This game should probably be a blowout. I mean, as like Tampa, Philly, it should probably be a blowout. But like, obviously, so you see the man behind me. Like, I want Philly to win, so the Philly has to go to Lambeau for the divisional round to be easier for us. But like, that's why I'm going to be focused on this game. But they did play earlier in the year. I think it was maybe in September or October. It was a Thursday night game, I remember. And I remember Philly made it close. Tampa ended up winning 28-22, and they were up handily on them, but I think Philly kind of came back and had a chance to maybe get the ball back, but Tampa, bled the clock out or whatever. I expect Tampa to win this game by a couple touchdowns. There's no Godwin. There's no AB. I know Levante David and Leonard Fournette were back to practice today. So we'll see if they go this week. Jalen Hurts did not play last week. So Tampa has not been as great as they were last year at their run defense. I don't have the stats on, man. I'm not a big stats guy. But I know Philly is the number one ranked rushing offense in football. And maybe they'll ride Miles Sanders, maybe Jalen Hurts. That could be big for him to use his legs. But I think the key for Philly is, can the receivers get open? That's the key for every game. I mean, not every game, but you got to get open at some point to make plays. Can Greg Ward and Jalen Reagor and JJ Arcega-Whiteside, like, can those guys, I'm probably forgetting someone, but Goddard, like their receiving core, their options are not as great as a lot of the other teams. I'm sure they're bottom half of the league. Those guys have got to make plays for them to have a prayer at this. I'm picking Tampa. I think Tampa could probably house them. But we'll see if Sirianni can work some magic. But I got Tampa.
I have Tampa as well. The X factor is Tom's been in this situation so many times. And the other X factor is they are in Tampa Bay. They are not in Philly where it's going to be cold. They're going to be in Tampa Bay. Now, what I'm hearing is the weather conditions are going to be a little bit brutal.
Who's your source?
Tone Dix.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the Weather Channel app.
Yep.
But
what is it? Wait.
so it's gonna be like rainy and windy.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a lot. So it's gonna be a lot on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, I mean, he can get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the Eagles, I mean, they rely on that type of style to get them through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick with Tampa Bay only because of the experience, and I think Tom can, he can still pass the ball wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Because he throws a little 5-yard passes all the time.
Yeah.
I would love to see Philly win this game, though.
Me too. Thank you. Yes, me too. I mean, I did forget they do have Tom Brady, so that's the other issue. But yeah, it'd be cool to see Philly win just because to have some madness. But I think Tampa could be the better team here. This next game could be the game of the weekend, I think, though. San Francisco, Dallas, unbelievable game. I mean, Jerry Jones on the radio, I think today or yesterday was saying, like this is, it's full steam ahead. Like for every team, it's kind of like this is their mentality, but it's Super Bowl or bust, like that's what he was saying. And this is a scary matchup. Like I was thinking like San Fran might play Tampa to start the playoffs. They're playing Dallas. Look, I know Dallas has some players. I think their defense has improved, you have I think Zeke and Pollard are good. Zeke is obviously, I think Zeke is the new Todd Gurley. I think he doesn't run as much. Tony Pollard has some crazy speed though. He's lightning. I love it. But obviously Cooper and Lamb are great. No Gallup with torn ACL. Dak is going to have to be great. I think Dak is a good quarterback. I think he's a B quarterback. But he's got to be great. And Nick Bosa, I think, should be comeback player of the year. I believe that. And they're going to run the football. San Francisco is going to run the football. And I know Dallas has improved. We'll see how good they are, though, against this team, because the way San Francisco ran the ball on Sunday against the Rams, boy, that's good luck, Dallas. So I believe I'm picking San Francisco. I think San Francisco is scary. I think they're the hotter team. And Dallas, okay, great. They dominated their division with the East. They dominated it. Rest of their games, they were 6-5. And the last team they played like that actually like was good, Arizona, they lost. And Arizona's been struggling, So I think San Francisco, I'm picking them. And it's not even, I wouldn't even consider it an upset. I really wouldn't. I think San Francisco is actually better. I do.
I am saying the exact same thing. You and I don't see eye to eye for every single situation, but I think
Agreed.
for these playoffs, I think we have a very similar mindset to the point where it's like San Fran's going to run the ball down their throat. They're not going to, they're not going to rely on Jimmy G to try and throw the ball 40 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With that being said, the best part of the Cowboys defense is Michael Parsons coming off the edge and Trayvon Diggs intercepting footballs. It's not the run defense that's the best for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So within saying that, I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers here.
Yeah.
And I think they do come out and win this ball game.
Yeah. I think Shanahan is going to have to pick and choose when Garoppolo can throw it. Like he's got to be smart with that because Diggs is a ball hawk. He's also, I believe he's top 5. At one point he had the most yards given up for cornerback. So he's hit or miss. I will say that. And it will be interesting to see where Dan Quinn puts Micah Parsons because obviously they moved him to the edge. But I want to see if he plays inside linebacker because he played inside linebacker early on. Because when the Niners run the ball, they're going to try and run away from him. That's what they're not going to run to his side. So maybe would they put him at inside linebacker just to let him kind of move around and like pick which hole he goes into to and stop them. So that's going to be. I mean, maybe that's stupid. Maybe he'll just play left, defensive end, whatever he plays. But it's interesting to see what they do because I don't think they can stop him. I really don't think they can stop if it's Trey Sermon or Elijah Mitchell or Debo, whatever it is. I think Dallas is going to have a tough time. So we're both on San Francisco. The last game, which if the Niners do not win and if the Eagles do not win, the winner of the NFC West probably goes to Green Bay, or the winner of Arizona, LA goes to Green Bay. But who knows? Who knows? It's crazy. What do you think? I want you to make your pick first, because this game is, I don't know.
I'm going with the Rams here.
Okay.
I think Stafford, yes, he has ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rams, that defense is very, very, very good. And I think Stafford's gonna hone in and be like, all right, you know what? I gotta take care of the football. This is exactly what I'm gonna do. All right, time to go.
That's what he's saying in the huddle. That's what he's saying. Like, you know what I have to do? I'm not gonna turn the ball over, coach. Let's go play.
Essentially, I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
So
you're picking LA. You're picking LA.
I'm picking LA.
Arizona has lost. They lost one game on the road this year. That was, I don't know where it was. I forgot. I don't pay attention. I mean, I do pay attention, but not too much. I forgot who they lost to.
Detroit.
Of course. Just like we all thought.
Late in the season.
They split the season series, and LA, they shelled out a lot for Matthew Stafford. And right, dude, honestly, I don't see a difference between Stafford. I mean, maybe they throw the ball more, but are they better without Jared Goff? A healthy Jared Goff? I don't know. Like 2018 Jared Goff was great. I mean, I remember him in some of those primetime. I mean, against the Chiefs, maybe the greatest Monday night game ever. He outdueled Mahomes. Like, he was balling. I mean, I know they had this no pass interference call in New Orleans, but they went to the Super Bowl. Like, people are acting whenever they say McVay. Oh, McVay led Jared Goff to the playoffs. Jared Goff, I know the Pro Bowl, it's kind of a celebrity contest now, but Jared Goff's a two-time Pro Bowler. Like, Jared Goff is not a he's not a scrub. Jared Goff can play the quarterback position, and he's played it well before. I know Detroit, it's a different story, but basically, I don't see a distinct difference right now between Stafford and Goff, other than the fact that Stafford throws the ball a lot more, and turnovers wise, I mean, maybe they're the same. I don't know, but Stafford he throws the ball a lot more. JJ Watt will be playing. JJ Watt will be playing, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Arizona. Give me Arizona. I think Kyler Murray is going to make some plays. I really do. Last time they came to LA, I believe they demolished him. I don't think it was close. I think maybe it was 38-13. I can't remember. It wasn't close. I think Kyler Murray is going to make some plays late. Those Arizona DBs, though, have got to stick with Cooper Kupp. They have got to. That is paramount. They have to. Vance Joseph has to make some stuff happen, because that's the Triple Crown guy right there. He has all the. He's led all receivers in touchdowns, reception yards, receptions. So, got to stick with him. Cam Akers being back, I think, is important for the Rams. That's huge. Still, though, I just think Arizona. Most of these predictions, man, like I have stats, and I'm looking at the matchups and stuff like that. Most of these are just hunches, and I don't know how this stuff is going to work out. I just think Arizona's going to win. Don't know why. Don't have a great reason. I just think Kyler Murray's going to make some plays late, and Chandler Jones is going to be a menace off the edge, in my opinion. I think Arizona.
That's the best part about the playoffs for football. It's a one game, one and done. You never know who's going to win.
Never know. So this is going to be great. It's going to be fun to watch. It's. I mean, there are 3 games. How many games? Yeah, there's 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and 1 game on Monday. So, and also keep in mind, if the winner of the Rams Cardinals game has to go to Lambeau, they have a short week. Because they play Monday night, and Tuesday. Who knows? Like, I don't know what the procedure. I mean, do they have a rest day? Who knows what they have to do? I mean, I'm sure they have a rester. I'm sure they don't practice. Like, I'm sure they have an off day. Wednesday, get in the film room. Thursday, Friday, probably Wednesday too, they practice, but fly to Green Bay on Saturday or something like that. Or it's just it's so much to do in a short week. So whoever wins has a kind of a a tough hand. That said, though, let's move on to end the show. Head coaching carousel. So coaches that have been fired, let go of their duties, whatever they say. Matt Nagy, who you know all too well, Mike Zimmer in Minnesota, Nagy in Chicago, Zimmer in Minnesota, Brian Flores, that was a ridiculous decision by the Miami Dolphins. I thought that was stupid. Brian Flores fired from Miami. Joe Judge just last night was fired by the Giants. That was a great call by the New York Giants. Again, Jacksonville, they have an interim coach, so we don't really know what's happening there. Denver, Vic Fangio fired after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs last week. And then we don't know what's going to happen with the Raiders, although I think Versace should keep his job for sure. Did I miss anyone?
I think that's it.
Pete Carroll, we'll see what happens with that. We don't know what's going to happen in Seattle.
He's going to stay around.
You think? Okay, I hope so. I hope so. Pete Carroll is, he's the most energetic coach in the league, and he's also the oldest. I think he's a great coach, and I just think they've, you have those years once in a while, and hopefully they can all make it work with him and Russ, for sure. But I'll ask you this, and because there have been coaches have been going around interview places, like even coaches like Caldwell, Doug Peterson, guys who've been out of the league have, had interviews. What coach and what team do you think makes the best sense? Like, give me a, vacancy and give me a coach who you'd like to see there.
Brian Flores to the Bears.
Here we go.
In all reality, that actually would make a lot of sense, and I really hope that does happen since he got let go. Before I was saying Byron Leftwich, but I like the way that Flores, his demeanor and the way that he handles himself, and then,
tough love.
He is a good coach, and what the Bears need is leadership. Not I'm going to be your friend, and he's a good guy. That's a good guy. No, we need somebody that's actually going to go in and be like, you know what? Hey, time to do your job. Time to do your job.
Yeah.
They need a leader, not a friend. That's what a coach is.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. Leftwich back to the Jags. That would make sense.
Yeah.
They're also talking about Billy O'Brien possibly going to the Jags.
Yeah. Okay.
But then, yeah. So there's some other scenarios like, in all reality, like for what I want with what I think is best, I do think that Brian Flores to the Bears is the best possible scenario. And he can handle Justin Fields in the young offense, because I know Flores is the one that wanted Deshaun Watson. Well, guess what? A close thing to Deshaun Watson for you, Justin Fields.
Yeah, I agree.
What it's going to come down to is the GM. Who's going to be hired for GM?
Did you see the video? Who's the dude with the mustache and the glasses? Is that McCaskey? Ted Phillips?
Oh, that's George McCaskey.
Is he the guy who makes all this? I know Virginia is the owner, but is he like the guy who's in charge?
Yep.
Did you see the?
He's just a fan. He's not.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you see the video he made? So that the Bears, ESPN Bears, Jeff Dickerson, who passed away, his son, I think McCaskey said, like, I think he compared the situation of like high school kids booing Matt Nagy at like Nagy's son's football games to like Dickerson's son, who was like, it was a terrible moment. Like it was not a good moment at all. But I think that's part of the whole Brian Flores thing. Like, I know Flores is he's the coach, but maybe that could rub off on the front office a little bit. I know he's not in charge, but maybe they could use some of that. So I agree with that. I think that's a good, that's a good call. He was actually, from what I understand, I believe he was probably per Bob Domofsky, ESPN Packers reporter. He said via Twitter that Brian Flores was probably the Packers' second choice if they didn't hire LaFleur. So yeah, I mean, I like Brian Flores a lot. I think that'd work. I like again, I know this guy very well. Nathaniel Hackett to Denver. I like that because he has number one, he has experience working with a bad quarterback and actually winning in Blake Bortles, getting them to a few plays of the Super Bowl. And then he also, again, he's worked with Aaron Rodgers the last few years. And the Broncos have also requested to interview Luke Getsy, the Packers quarterback coach. So maybe they're trying to lure Aaron to Denver, whatever. Regardless, though, those guys can bring that quarterback, that psyche to Denver. Number one, you have John Elway in the building, so that kind of helps. But you can help use that. You can bring that, mentality and help out another young quarterback, whether it's Locke. I don't think Locke or Bridgewater, I don't think they're the long-term answer. But another guy, whoever they want. I mean, maybe they trade for Deshaun. I don't know if that is the case, whatever. If they draft someone even. Maybe a Desmond Ridder, who knows, from Cincinnati. But you can bring that offensive, and regardless of the whole Rodgers stuff, you can bring it like that LaFleur system, that whole Shanahan, McVay, that whole, I don't know what the system is called. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of, it's focused a lot on running the ball. And it's not about you having a superhero quarterback. It's about, everyone making the right throw, precise throw. It's all about timing, doing your job. I think Hackett is very personable. I think Aaron said that about him too. Like, great coaches need to be personable. You need to be able to relate to your players. Hackett's the best at that. So I think Hackett would be good for Denver. Anyone at this point will be better than Joe Judge in New York. So, I mean, if you want to go hire someone, whatever. Just that was one of the best moves the Giants have made in years. Like, it also amazes me. I don't want to go too much into this, but the decisions, like I understand, I think they were banking on Joe Judge being the next Belichick and Saban because he worked for both of them. Not even close. But also the Jets. I just thought about this last night. How in the hell did the New York Jets decide to hire Adam Gase? I knew that was a horrible, horrible decision.
Because he had one good year with Jay Cutler in Chicago.
And then he was Peyton Manning. Wasn't he with Peyton Manning in Denver as his quarterback?
Yeah.
And that was bad. So both, a lot of the big markets are terrible at hiring coaches. I don't know why they are, but they just are. But good move by the Giants to fire Joe Judge. That was not it. And, this is, Gettleman retiring too. So they have to find a new GM as well. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. And also Daniel Jones is going to be in his fourth year of his rookie deal, his final, Saquon Barkley is trying to find his way back still from his knee injury. I know he was playing, he was back, but he's not himself. And they've just been inconsistent. And also, last point, Kadarius Toney, first round pick, Kenny Galladay, the highest paid free agent acquisition or whatever. Those guys caught 0 touchdowns, or was it 0 touchdowns? Yeah, I don't think they caught a single touchdown this year. It's not ideal. It is not ideal, and that's how kind of something's up. So they got to figure that out too. But that's that coaching carousel. Okay, let's end on this. We were gonna end, but I want to check this. Off-season awards. I know we're not in the off-season there. I mean season awards. What am I saying? Who is your coach of the year?
I'd have to give it to Vrabel.
Wow, that's just disrespectful.
I'd have to give it to Vrabel for what he's done with.
No, I'm kidding.
With all that's, I mean, he's had so many different people that have come in and out of there, and the stuff that he's done to keep them in first place in the AFC. Come on,
they're winners.
Yeah,
I
don't know how much more a guy needs to do to prove that. Oh, hey, this guy is legit, and he probably is the best coach, at least for this year. I mean, Nagy won his first year coaching. Let's not.
Okay, yeah, we need to talk about that. Yeah, no, but I agree. I think you're right. I think Vrabel again, no Derrick Henry. I think that's a good choice. I think it's between Vrabel and LaFleur, and I think LaFleur. People can say, "Oh, he has Aaron Rodgers." He can say, "That's not like." Raise your hand if you saw what the Packers era was like at the end of McCarthy's time. You see my hand? My hand's being raised. It was bad. I mean, their defense, okay, injuries were a part of it, but their defense was terrible. Throughout most of McCarthy's tenure there, the defense was bad. And LaFleur each season has steadily improved each unit. I know special teams, whatever. And the defense, again, it's been steady improvement. And this is his best team, even though every single year he's going 13-3, or now this year he's 13-4. He's off to the best start for 3 seasons in NFL history. He's just due for one. I know you have to go season by season, whatever. LaFleur is due. Like maybe he's got to win the Super Bowl. I know that's not part of it. I know the playoffs aren't part of it, but LaFleur is due for one. He's done a hell of a job. And I get it. You have Aaron Rodgers. Okay, like you still have to manage 48 other, I don't know what the exact number is, 52 other players, whatever it is. And to get everyone ready. Heck, I remember at the end of Pettine's, when Mike Pettin was the defensive coordinator, I remember he had to like kind of step in and like not coach the defense, but kind of help figure some things out because they were lost. And he's done a heck of a job. Steady improvement this year, number 1 seed, maybe the most complete team when they're playing at their best. So I think LaFleur deserves it. He's got to get it at some point because he has worked his rear end off for sure. So shocker, I'm biased, but give me LaFleur. Who was your MVP?
Rodgers. The season that he's put together and the way that
look at this.
The Packers have. It's Rodgers.
Yeah, just
I don't need to get too into depth with the.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to point. What way? Yeah, check out the infographic behind me here. Just ridiculous. 37. I know Tom. Like if you look at the stats, it's because Tom has 43 touchdowns. I think he has 12 picks, but he also has over 5,000 yards. Aaron has thrown, I think, 180 less passes than Tom has. I know he has less touchdowns. I know he has less than Aaron Rodgers does not turn the ball over. Like, look at this thing behind me. It's unbelievable. He also has the best quarterback rating in the league. They're the number 1 seed. I know that's not part of it. It's just best. Well, it's part of it. He's also had, I believe, according to Pro Football Focus, he has I know he has the best receiver, but he has the 15th best receiving core, and the 16th best offensive line. No Bakhtiari, no Zadarius Smith, no Jair, no Elton Jenkins for about half the year or so. Who am I missing? He's just a lot of guys off and on, a lot of injuries. And I think Aaron, again, what a year it would be for Aaron Rodgers, I think, just to say, for him to all the shit that was said about him in the offseason, to the COVID stuff that everyone thinks they have a great opinion on. Aaron said what he said, whatever. If you agree with it, great. If you disagree with it, great. But imagine Aaron Rodgers winning MVP, LaFleur winning Coach of the Year, and probably Brian Gutekunst winning Executive of the Year, the Green Bay Packers winning a Super Bowl. Like, that's pretty storybook year, for sure. But anyway, off my Packers hype train for now. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt.
It has to be. There's no other reasonable, especially if they actually give him the sack and he has the record with having fewer games played. Come on. Let's not kid ourselves.
Do you believe that there's an asterisk? Like say they give him the sack record upon review of the play. Like, do you think there should be an asterisk because it's a longer season or no?
For his, no.
Yeah. Because
he did it in fewer games.
That is true. I think Terry Bradshaw made a good point too, believe it or not. He said on NFL on Fox, he said, the NFL is like, there used to be 12 games a season. Like, it steadily grows. Now there's 17 games. Like, Strahan had a great year. He didn't play all the games either. But, this is an NFL season. Week 18 is now a thing. And TJ Watt made enough plays. And gosh, I remember people were saying Micah Parsons was the defensive player of the year, like halfway through the year. I get it. Respect him. He's had a heck of a year. I don't even think he's the 4th or 5th candidate. I mean, Myles Garrett, he fell off at the end of the year, but he had a great year. I think he had a better year. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa's had a hell of a year. He deserves to be comeback player of the year. A lot of guys. So, TJ Watt, I think hands down though, is the dude for sure. I mean, I think he got hosed last year by Aaron Donald winning. I think this year though, above and beyond, after signing the big contract, and he's back, and after getting hosed with the defensive player of the year, he's made plays. Offensive player of the year. I think this is an interesting one. Who do you think offensive player?
Either Cup or Jonathan Taylor. Which one would you say?
Devontae Adams. Wait, no, is offensive. That was a joke. He's had a great year, but he's not that. Can you? Our quarterbacks are a part of this too, right? I don't know why I'm asking.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. No, I mean it's not going to be. It'll be. This is now a separate. I think it'll be Cooper Kupp. I just think winning the Triple Crown. And I think the combination and Taylor and the Colts missing the playoffs. I think that's going to play into it. I think Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, at this point in the season, I think it's going to be Cooper Kupp.
Just a hell of a year.
Jonathan Taylor, though, I mean, he just didn't do enough within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and Frank Reich barely gave him the ball, so
yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to say it's Cooper Kupp at this point in time.
JT is going to be he'll be a first team All Pro though, so it's okay. He's a hell of a year, nothing to be discouraged about for sure. Couple more. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Jamar Chase.
Ditto. Yeah, like he was Justin Jefferson this year, but probably better. I mean, rookie bursting onto the scene with a team that needed a receiver, and he made plays. Unbelievable. I 100% agree. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Parsons.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Switching from inside linebacker to the edge, coming from Penn State was fantastic. Comeback Player of the Year.
Dak Prescott.
Wow. Okay. Nick Bosa. I'm gonna roll with Nick Bosa. I think Dak has had a good year. I think he's had it kind of feels like the same year. I mean, like the same year he's always been good. Not really an MVP, but he's always been good. I think Nick Bosa. If Nick Bosa doesn't win it, it's because he doesn't play for the Cowboys. And the Niners are they're a gold standard organization too. But I think Nick Bosa just, what does he have? 14, 15 sacks. I mean, that's unbelievable. So I give it to him. Executive of the Year, Brian Gutekunst. How could you not? Right? Am I wrong? I mean, bringing in, okay, so I guess they're going to factor like bringing back Aaron Rodgers, which no, they talk to each other, whatever. Rasul Douglas and Devondre Campbell, though, two of the best signings in the league this year, off the street too. I mean, guys who are on practice squads are just free agents who no one thought they were going to help out. They did, and those guys are playing at Pro Bowl levels. Those are two big parts of the defense, and I don't know, man. They just bring Randall Cobb back even. That's my biased belief, though.
Yeah, I'd have to.
You don't really care.
I'd have to. I don't know.
I do think there's a
GM of the year.
That would be a storybook. Like as a Pack fan, we'll end on this because the show's been going on for a while. But like as a Packer fan to watch Tom Brady, because I do, again, you hear me. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is better. It does, like Tom Brady, fine, he's the GOAT because he has the best resume ever. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers is a better player. It doesn't make sense. I saw that tweet from Torrey Smith, I think last year. Torrey Smith, former NFL wide receiver, tweeted it. Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is a better player. It doesn't make sense, but it just does. That's how I feel. I know Tom has 7. Aaron only has 1. But I think Aaron is the better player. Aaron is the better player. And a storybook ending would be after losing to Tom in the championship game last year and the Bucs, and if LaFleur wins Coach of the Year, Gutekunst wins Executive of the Year, Rodgers is the MVP, and they win a Super Bowl. That's one of the greatest seasons ever for a team and some of its key pieces. So we'll just have to see, man. I'm juiced up. Before I watch these playoff games, before I watch the Packers play in a couple weeks. I don't know how you get fired up for your team when your team is good whenever they are good. I don't know if you watch like inspirational speeches. Like I watched the scene in Lord of the Rings when Aragorn. Are you a Lord of the Rings fan? Have you seen Lord of the Rings? No? maybe.
Seen bits and pieces.
Okay.
I haven't fully watched it.
I'll text you the video, but basically there's a scene at the end when they're facing, you know what Mordor is, right? Okay, so they have to go to Mordor and fight just all these bad evil orcs, whatever, and they're completely outnumbered. Like they're circled. Like this is a huge army going up against a smaller army. And Aragorn, who is their leader, the dude who actually looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers right now, gives this great speech about how the day, men will not, like the story of men will not fail today. Like we're not going to die today. Like we might die at some point, but we're not going to die today. And it's a great speech. Watch that. Or Elizabeth's speech in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End before they go into the Maelstrom and fight Davy Jones and the crew. She gives a great speech about, hoisting the colors. That's cool. So those are the two speeches I recommend. Or you can watch the Herb Brooks. I watched Miracle last night. That's good.
I watched Miracle the other night as well.
I'm gonna watch that, dude. You know what I found out is, so the NHL is not participating in the Olympics this year. Like American players are not gonna play for Team USA, so they're using college players. They're using players.
That's what they've done in the past.
Perfect. Miracle. Exactly. Like I'm excited for this. Like I'm gonna watch Miracle before the Olympics. Gonna be hyped. But I know the US is not like. I mean, who is the best hockey? Who's the best hockey? I mean, it's Canada or Russia? Probably those two.
It's normally Canada. Well, in recent times, it's been Canada.
They're so stacked. They're always loaded. I know Sidney Crosby's on it. I've played NHL on Xbox before. I've seen the teams. They've been absolutely sick. But we'll see, man. It's gonna be fun. Basically, though, yay NFL. Go football. Playoffs are this weekend. Get excited. Our episode took about as long as maybe a Pixar movie, about an hour 20. Pretty impressive stuff. With that said, though, man, I'll let you go. Have you seen The Mandalorian?
Don't ask.
Nope.
Don't ask.
Okay, so get to that.
I'll give you a nice little peace out, though.
Yep, we'll leave. Yep, we'll end on that. All right. Talk to you later.
I'm tickled pink that things aren't going my way, 'cause that would be boring. Spent my last cent on cheese and champagne. What a wonderful morning. Never mind, she declined to the first date. It was only on my birthday. Never